Hi guys, I'm here to talk to you today about my recent experiences in the UK, well living in the UK, and with symphonic metal. So as you may or may not know, I have a very close friend who was in a band I say was, she still is, but they're not in the same band. And I have been to quite a lot of her gigs, and obviously I am a symphonic metal fan, so I have been to, you know, the bigger acts and things, and I've been to a few events here and there, and but it's mainly since my friend has done gigs of her own that I have kind of launched myself more into the UK metal scene, not as in me as an act, but as a fan. So I've got a few more experiences and a few more like opinions and scenes, if you will, of the UK and how it feels about symphonic metal. So the first thing that I have learnt is that, and I'm pretty sure this is probably the same in many a country, but I didn't really realise it as much until I went to more gigs around the country, is that certain cities like certain genres of metal. Like there isn't really a place that likes metal in general. This place likes symphonic metal, this place likes stoner metal, this place likes doom metal, this place likes black metal. Like you can't just go to a metal gig and it be very similar everywhere you go. There's very different scenes. I have learnt that where I live is not exactly for me. Symphonic metal doesn't really come here at all, if at all actually. I don't think I've even known about a gig that was slightly symphonic. I haven't been to a gig where I live. I always have to travel, which is fine, you know, as long as it's affordable and, you know, I can get somewhere to stay or I can get home in time, that's fine. I'm willing to travel, but it is a bit sad to know that you live in a city that you thought was quite thriving. Well, it obviously is thriving, but it's not thriving in the thing you want it to be, so you still have to travel yourself to get there. So yeah, I've learnt that, for at least from my personal experiences, the best place to go for symphonic metal, if you want to have the most fun time, if you want to go to a really small gig and see the smallest bands that are up and coming, if you want to see a big band that's up and coming, if you want to see the biggest stars, oh, I'm throwing things around, you should go to Birmingham. That is what I have learnt. Birmingham is a wonderful place for a symphonic metal fan. There is a lot going on there and the fans there are absolutely lovely. I have made some really nice friends just from going to Birmingham and I've been to like some day festivals and a couple of smaller shows and things there. I haven't seen any of the like big bands, any of my big favourites, because I will always go somewhere that's closer to me for that. But yeah, I have had some absolutely lovely, amazing experiences, met some wonderful people just by going to Birmingham and just going to see some shows there. So, you know, it's nice to know that if I do want to travel for these bands, that I know that I could go somewhere and probably have someone to go with, because someone who I've met and made friends with there will probably be going. And I have learnt that there is a little small community of people that pretty much do go to a lot of the same shows I go to, and that it's getting more likely that I will have someone to go with me and watch this band, whoever it may be, wherever I end up going. I have now more chances of not having to go alone, which is absolutely amazing, and I'm really grateful to all the friends I've made through my love of symphonic metal. So yeah, it's been I've got to admit, it's been a really good year for my symphonic metal journey. Another thing that I have learnt is that symphonic metal shows, say that I went to a day festival of symphonic metal, that there will be a lot of British bands up and coming in the lineup, but that usually the big headline slots go to a European act, and that a lot of bands that may be deemed as smaller in the scene can be a bigger band in the UK. just for the lineups of these kinds of things. I don't mean that in any insulting way. I've not really been and seen a band at one of these kinds of events where I'm like, you don't deserve to be here or anything like that. Like I've not really had many bad experiences, other than the video that I made ages ago that's called like Overly Egotistical Band or something like that. But they didn't really fit in with the whole scene. They weren't symphonic metal. They were just making themselves symphonic metal for the sake of getting on a billing. Yeah, but like I've met members of bands that have been lovely. I've had a laugh with people who are fans of these bands, or people who are newly seeing these bands, just, you know, witnessing them for the first time. I have experienced a lot of bands that I would have never seen. I've experienced bands that I've seen now a few times because of getting into this whole scene, and it's been wonderful. Like, my eyes have been opening to so much symphonic metal, and I've been just having so much fun at these shows, and I really hope to keep going to these kinds of events to get more of these wonderful experiences. And if you are living in the UK and you like symphonic metal and you think where you live, you know, there's not a lot going on, or you think, well, I want to go to this kind of show but I don't really have anyone to go with, if you travel to one of the shows, or if you go to one in your local area, you will make friends, because the symphonic metal fans are absolutely lovely. The band members are all lovely. Like, I've not had any issues with people at shows. I've just made friends with whoever is around, and it's been really, I felt really accepted, and it's been a very open and welcoming environment, and I'm really, really grateful that something that I love so much has so many fans that are so absolutely incredible and are so willing to let people come along and be themselves. So yeah, I've been very happy. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the fact that this scene is there. It exists, because I went so long thinking, you know, I can only really go and see these big bands, and I usually end up going with like one friend or on my own or something. Like, it's just nice to know there is the community there, and I've managed to discover it, and I'm just really happy about it. So I do have some things that I wanted to put, and I'm just going all over the place. So where am I going to go with this? The shows that I go to, there is some bad points, and when I say bad points, what I mean is, if a band goes to a part of the UK that's not very big on symphonic metal, the turnout can be minimal. I have been to some shows where there's basically been like people who know the band and that's it there. And it's not an insult to any bands that I've seen play, like, it's just that some places aren't as welcoming to the genre as others. Actually, when I used to work in a nightclub, I used to DJ a rock night, there was a symphonic metal band that played there one time, and I can distinctly remember me and one of my friends that I was with that night being the only two people on the dance floor giving this band any time of day whatsoever. Everyone else was just kind of sat around like waiting for the next thing to come, but we were like really having fun with it, like moshing away and, you know, trying to get everyone pumped and dancing along, because this band had come and they were putting on a good show, and it wasn't really very fair that everyone had just kind of scooted them aside because it was symphonic metal and we don't care for that. So yeah, I have been to shows where it's been difficult to see it for the band. You know, it's been upsetting that this band has put all this effort in for nothing. Well, not nothing, but for such a small thing. So that is kind of sad, and it does upset me that the UK isn't very welcoming to this genre. And it's made me want to talk about a story that has come up recently in the news, where a pub from Middlesbrough is refusing to allow female fronted bands to play at their pub, because they always have like rock bands on. It's a rock pub, and yeah, they have now said that they don't want any female fronted rock bands on because their punters believe that women can't sing rock songs. and that really upsets me. I have seen some amazing UK bands, or bands that are willing to tour in the UK, that have done great shows that have been so much fun. And it's really sad to think that there is a very small-minded crowd out there that think women aren't allowed to do this. The pub was using the excuse of, well, we just don't get anyone coming, and but I'm like, I bet you don't advertise those bands as well, because I have seen, I mean, that time that I was in the club that I worked in, I had no idea that band was coming. Like, literally zero idea that band was coming. And I obviously knew staff members, and I went regularly, so you'd think I'd see, like, posters and things. That band was just there. They just existed all of a sudden, out of nowhere. And I get the feeling that that's quite a thing that happens with female-fronted bands. And it's just really sad to see. And I just want to say to those punters who believe that women can't do it, you know, that can't do rock or metal or whatever, that if it is true what they're saying, that they're blaming the punters, that I think you need to get out more. And I think that you are missing out on a lot of great acts because for whatever reason you believe that men are the only ones who can do this kind of scene. It's just really sad. Like, it's really upsetting. And I know I'm very biased because all my favourite bands are fronted by a woman. And, you know, yes, that is my personal taste, that I prefer to hear a female voice. But I like a lot of male-fronted bands. And, you know, I've got nothing against a man being in a band or a woman being in a band or whatever. I don't have, like, set rules of who's allowed to be in what genre. That's not how I feel. Like, I don't think every band should be fronted by a woman. I mean, there's lots of bands that I love, and I think that if that man was replaced by a woman it wouldn't work, but they're just not my absolute all-time favourites, and that's okay. You know, you're allowed to have a favourite, that's fine, but to completely rule out someone because of their gender and because of the genre of music, it's just insane to me. It's just insanity. Like, I've heard male-fronted symphonic metal bands, I've been to see them and I've had lots of fun with them and I've really enjoyed myself at the shows, but they're just not my favourites, and that's okay. But I wouldn't be like, you can't be here because you're a man and I want to see a woman. That's just, I don't know. It's a very sad state of affairs, and I know there's some horrible things going on in the world and this isn't the saddest thing that's happening right now, but it's just very disappointing to see when you are someone who is so invested in supporting women doing something that is predominantly male, and that you just want to see women do well, you just want to see them flourish because you know that they've got some amazing stuff out there. And so yeah, every symphonic metal show that I go to, I get really enthusiastic. If you've ever been to a show and there's been a girl with long ginger hair windmilling all night long, that's me. Hi. Hi, I'm Vicky, and I just love supporting the scene, and I just love supporting these women putting themselves out there, because it's something that I kind of wish I could do as well. Like, I'm not going to start a band, sorry if you were expecting that for some reason. I do get asked quite a lot what band I'm in when I'm at these shows, and I think it's because it's kind of weird to see a young female getting so into these shows without them being in one of the bands, I guess. But yeah, I always get asked what band I'm in. I'm not in any, and I probably won't ever be in any. I like to sing along and have fun, and my singing voice is very distinctly average, so I'm not going to be in a band. But like, I wish I could be in a band in ways, because I'm just so enthusiastic about it, and I have a lot of passion, and I love making people happy. And, you know, when I'm at the shows that I'm at, I try to make friends with everybody, and I try to, you know, make sure they're having the most fun at the show so that we're both enjoying it together, we're all enjoying everything. That's just my attitude, that's just how I live my life. So yeah, that's why I go so nuts at these shows. It's because I want to have lots of fun, and I'm hoping to spread the love and the fun to everyone else who is there. And I have had people being like, you know, everyone's just really started getting into it because you've been dancing away and it's been like spreading. And I called myself the unofficial Bez of A Clockwork Opera. That's the band that my friend is in. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the Bez, and by that I mean the Happy Mondays had a member called Bez who basically did nothing but he danced and got everyone else into it, and that's me. That's what I do. But I don't just do it obviously for the one band. I've done it for many bands. I've done it for bands where I don't know one member, I don't know one song, I've only just heard their name at that show, but I'm like, come on, woo! Because it's just, let's have fun and let's enjoy this beautiful thing that's being put in front of us. And I feel like I've been embraced and welcomed with open arms, even with my crazy attitude, and it's just, I've just felt so loved recently. And whenever I'm at one of these shows, the people I meet are always so nice to me, and I just find it so amazing that I'm being welcomed by strangers, and I'm, you know, stood in a crowd looking at a band that I've never seen before, windmilling away, screaming away like they're my favourite. Yeah, this is probably a video that's a bit all over the place. It's gone from good to bad to good to bad, but I just wanted to get my feelings out there, like my raw feelings of how lovely it's been to really get out there and really see that the UK has some amazing shows out there if you look for them. And even though there is a lot of judgment still and a lot of UK scenes aren't ready for female fronted bands, it's nice to know that there is some that are willing to like knock that aside and be like, actually our favourite genre is symphonic metal. And yeah, I'm just really happy. And one thing that I've seen that really just like warms my heart is people will bring their children to symphonic metal shows and the children will really get into it, and it's like, oh yes, bring on the next generation of symphonic fans, because you know, it's just so lovely that it's a genre that's family friendly. Take that as you will. What I mean by that is usually there's not really any swears. Usually the bands are quite friendly to look at, like they don't have like any scary themes or anything, and it's just nice to see that it's a genre that can make everybody happy. Like, I have seen children dancing away and loving it, and that is amazing to me. And I hope that when my niece is a little bit older, I can introduce her to some of my favourite bands and she'll be able to come to these kinds of shows as well and have fun with it and have a really nice time. You know, obviously I won't be taking her on crazy all-nighters on symphonic metal shows, but like if it was just a little show, like a little band, I'd love her to go and experience these things, because it's just so nice to see that the UK might be slightly warming up to symphonic metal. It's definitely got better since I started making this channel. Things have definitely been getting more and more positive on the symphonic front. I have tickets to see Evanescence, Epica and Within Temptation next year. Nightwish have made it quite clear that they are bringing Decades to the UK next year, but they're not allowed to announce it just yet. And Baby Metal are doing Download, and I'm kind of hoping that means that they'll do a UK tour, because I'm not going to Download because I'm not paying all that money just to see Baby Metal, because I think that's pretty much the only one that I'm really interested in that I've seen so far. But yeah, like, it used to be every few years I'd be grasping onto a gig and that'd be it, that'd be me, done, and then I'd have to wait another couple of years and then, oh, that one band's coming that I love, yes. And it's just been amazing to know that, you know, these bands are starting to come and tour the UK, and I'm just really happy about it. So yeah, this video is a mess, but what's new? Hi, I'm Vicky, and I just let my brain fizzle away until it's finished thinking about what it's thinking about. I write notes, and then I don't really pay attention to them. Sorry, notes. I have pretty much said everything that I wanted to say on my notes, just not really in the nicely written down order that I had them in. So yeah, if you are part of the symphonic metal scene in any way, if you're a fan, if you're in a band, whatever, comment your experiences. Have you spotted me? If so, sorry if I've been annoying. But I hope that, you know, you're as happy with the scene as I am, and let's just talk. Do you want to get into the scene and you're trying to find things that you like? We can chat about it. Anything. let's get talking. So yes, I'm happy is basically the end of this video with how Symphonic Metal is progressing in the UK. And I'm excited to follow my friend on any future endeavours she will have. I believe that she will have some more, and I'm very positive about her and her performance, and I'm very happy to see where it'll take me as a fan. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!